For the meta-analysis, okay, let's start with what is a meta-analysis. Meta-analysis is the statistical procedure for combining data from multiple studies. When the treatment effect or effect size is consistent from one study to the next, it can be used to identify the common effect. When the effect varies from one study to the next, meta-analysis can be used to identify the reason for the variation. The key benefit of this approach is the aggregation of information leading to a higher statistical power and more robust point estimate than is possible from the measure derived from any individual study. However, in performing these kinds of research, or is called meta-analysis, an investigator must make choices which can affect the result, including deciding how to search for studies, selecting studies based on a set of objective criteria, dealing with incomplete data, analyzing the data, and accounting for or choosing not to account for publication bias. Okay, normally the researcher have to be related with these words. The first one is the common effect. The next one is the variation. Because I have told you before. Next is the synthesis. This is a very important procedure that the researcher should be careful to synthesize the studies because they need to face with or work with the point of multiple studies. So now I believe that you know all about the meta-analysis. And then let's move on to why we have to perform a meta-analysis. Okay, decisions about the use of an intervention or the validity of hypothesis cannot be based on only one single study. Because the result typically vary from one study to the next. So, a mechanism is very, very important to be used or to synthesize the data across studies to studies. Narrative reviews has been used for this purpose, but the review is very, very subjective. It's like different people come to the different summary, and next it becomes possibly difficult when there are more than a few studies involved. So, in contrast, meta-analysis include objective formulas and can be used with any number of studies. Okay, now what is systematic review or meta-analysis? Okay, how is different or not? Okay, a systematic review answer a defined research question by collecting and concluding all evidence that fit eligibility criteria, whereas the meta-analysis is the use of statistical method to summarize the results of these studies. Now, we have to learn how is the meta-analysis performed. Okay, now is the basic steps involved in meta-analysis. The first one is identifying a problem. Okay, identifying a problem does mean we need to determine the effectiveness of exercise. By that, identify first. And the next one is for doing a literature search. Okay, this will probably involve researching multiple databases. It's like index reliable peer like Scopus and or the Web of Science. And next is the deciding on the selection of criteria. We use an exclusion and inclusion criteria. are that you ensure that high quality of evidence. Okay, for this reason, we mostly include randomized and controlled trials. Okay, and specifically, we may include unpublished study in order to avoid the publication bias. Okay, for the next one is data extraction. We ought to extract the data for your outcomes of interest to be pulled in the final analysis set. The next step is doing the basic meta-analysis. Okay, now there are some software you can use that. Now, we have to know about the pros and cons of meta-analysis. Okay, for the meta-analysis, is used a statistical approach to combine the results from multiple studies in an effort to increase the power to improve the estimates of the size of effect. So that means the advantages is the first one is the results can be generalized to a larger population. The second one, the precision and accuracy of estimates can be improved as more data is used. In turn, this may increase the statistical power to detect an effect. Next, inconsistency of result across the study can be quantified and analyzed. Next, the next advantages hypothesis testing can be applied on summary estimates. Moreover, moderators can be included to explain variation between studies. And the last advantage is the presence of publication bias can be investigated. However, there are some cons or drawbacks of the meta-analysis. Okay, a meta-analysis of the several small studies does not predict the results of a single large study. Or someone told us the weaknesses of the method is that the sources of bias are not controlled by the method. This means a good meta-analysis cannot correct the poor design in the original studies. Moreover, other meta-analysis would include weaker studies. So this means they examine the effect of the study quality on the effect size. So these are the drawbacks or the disadvantages of the meta-analysis. Okay, for meta-analysis research. Okay, meta-analysis research is a statistical procedure combining a lot of multiple data from multiple studies. And for example, when the effect size is consistent from one study to the other study or another studies, the meta-analysis can be used to identify the common effect. Whereas if one research have vary from another or other research, meta-analysis can be used to identify the reason or the variations. That's right. Actually, in a pharmaceutical field or the company, they use meta-analysis research to get the approval for the new drug. But in education, psychology, and even for clinical research or medical research, they use meta-analysis to find the best intervention or the best treatment or the best practice to confirm or to be as the evidence of their research.